What's going on, everybody? It's Zach the Jedi Otaku. It's time for RWBY because we've got the next World of Remnant, this one being the Great War. I definitely need to see this one. There's so much that we don't know about what's the history of everything. And just as an FYI for everybody, I am planning on, after this volume, to kind of transition and shift the channel away from doing other reactions and shifting more into doing really just the RWBY reactions. And I'm going to try and start doing some theories and start trying to figure out some stuff and doing some original content that's based around the RWBY universe, kind of like how Murder of Birds is doing it right now. He's probably the best and the most influential of the RWBY reactors. I'm going to try and shift into doing some of that stuff as well. Just because I think I have some ideas. I'm going to re-review the entirety. I think I'm going to start with who is Salem, because I'm very curious to know who she is, where she comes from, because she is far older than anything else that we know of. And I'm sure she's far older than anything else in the Great War. In fact, she probably helped set up the Great War to some degree. So that's just me talking about beforehand. Let's see what actually happens. Ready? Play.
The Great War. What a terrible name for such a horrible time in history. Though the war itself lasted around 10 years, the century leading up to it was filled with so much tension, might as well lump them together. Most of that tension was coming from Mistral. Territories rich with resources and safe from Grim have always been in high demand. But the Emperor of Mistral had managed to conquer nearly all that Anima had to offer, thanks in part to an unlikely friend, Mantle. The two kingdoms had formed an alliance. Mistral provided the small kingdom with goods unavailable in the frozen tundra. In return, Mantle introduced technological innovation as well as guidance in the settlement of Anima's cold northern territory. It was good, until it wasn't.
Okay.
An incident in Mantle led to a strange and unexpected decree: the abolishment of the arts of repression and self-expression. The people of Mantle had come to believe that they would be much safer from the Grim if they could simply keep the emotions of the masses in check. Given Mistral's strong artistic culture, many assumed this would be the end of their alliance. But they were wrong. Mistral complied, selectively, enforcing Mantle's wishes only in the outer territories, allowing the centralized powers to continue to live as they pleased. If you haven't caught on yet, Mistral's full of jerks. The people of Vale had a problem with this. They had a problem with a lot of things Mistral and Mantle had been up to. Treatment of their citizens, use of slave labor, and their constant insistence that their way of life was what was best for everyone. Eventually, Mistral made the jump across the sea to the eastern coast of Samus. The small islands and peninsulas in the area were perfect to establish a settlement. They were so perfect, in fact, that Vale had just begun settling the area themselves. I think we can all guess what happened next.
Causing war.
The King of Vale did everything he could to avoid armed conflict.
So war broke out
Despite
on
cries
Vale.
from his people, he insisted on sharing the land with the settlers from Mistral. But to this day, no one knows who shot first. What began as a riot between the two bands of settlers had suddenly become the first battle of the Great War. Mantle quickly came to Mistral's side. Battles were fought on both Samus and Anima soil. Villages were lost to both combat and Grim. And it wasn't long before Vacuo decided to join the party. Up to this point, Vacuo had done its best to stay out of the fight. Mantle and Mistral having both already established a small presence in Vacuo territory years before promised to leave them provided they didn't interfere. Soon, those talks evolved. It went from don't side with them to side with us to be safe. Vacuo did not much care for that. They came to the conclusion that if Theo were to fall, there'd be no one left to stop Mistral and Mantle from conquering them next. So they did what they considered to be the logical thing. They drove Mantle and Mistral out of Vacuo and told Theo they had their backs. I love their style. So the war raged on. Grim attacks increased worldwide. The battlefield, this meant a temporary ceasefire in order to deal with the hordes of monsters before returning to the fight at hand. Those left miserable back at home, however, were often helpless with their best warriors away fighting the good fight. A lot of settlements were lost during these years. Most were never reclaimed. Rations on food and dust were put into effect. Development of technology accelerated. Humans and faunas who fought alongside one another became closer. Every day, mankind grew more and more efficient at destroying itself. But it all ended in the Vacuo campaign. Mistral and Mantle knew that if they could take the dust mines of Vacuo, they would effectively cut off the supply of dust to their enemy. It was to be a final devastating blow to Vale and Vacuo. They were only half right. The King of Vale personally led his army into battle alongside the soldiers of Vacuo and decimated the enemy forces. Crown atop his head and armed only with a sword and a scepter, he laid waste to countless men. A scepter soaked red with blood. The grim came in droves. It was the single deadliest battle of the war, and legends of the greatness and terror of the warrior king were born that day. Historians will tell you most of these stories are nothing but grandiose hyperbole. Unusually violent weather conditions combined with Mantle's unfamiliarity with the desert combat are likely what led to such a high death count. But whatever the reasoning, everyone bowed to the King of Vale by the time it was over. The Great War had ended. The world was ready to live under the rule.
Each of the colors represents one of the maidens.
The king refused.
Right?
Leaders of the four kingdoms met on the island of Vital, and it was there that they worked together to form a treaty and establish the future of Remnant.
Vital Festival.
Territories were redistributed, slavery was abolished, governments restructured, and the warrior king, the last king Vale would ever have, founded the Huntsman Academies and placed his most trusted followers in command of each kingdom's school. He would teach the world to fight so long as we promised to fight for ourselves and never against ourselves. Seems like we
and who's the
kept
teacher?
our end of the bargain.
No, we haven't. Holy crap. That was way too much to talk about. I was trying to write nonstop. I couldn't say anything. Jesus. I have to go back and rewatch all of the World of Remnants because there's so much in them that isn't explicitly said, that's implied through the images that were given about the history and the nature of the world and what's gone on. Jesus Christ. Mistral, not minstrel. 100 years leading up to it, lasted for 10 years. It was about, right? Wasn't the how long ago was the end of the war? The Great War was 80 years ago, right? I want to say it was 80 years ago. So this is a conflict that has been, it started 200 years ago, essentially. And then just like so much further back, then we have the, two brothers story. And that probably happened before the maidens. right? So we have the two brothers, the maidens. Those happened in ancient past. Two brothers first, maidens second, with the wizards somewhere in between them. Then we have a 200-year period before the start of our story, and there's the Great War during it. And it structures all the things. I want to know who the king is. The king definitely feels like it should have been Ospin, or one of his previous incarnations, or whoever a previous one was. I'm curious to know about the Vacchio leadership. It looks like that was a Faunist queen, I want to say. I'm not sure if it was a male or female, but we definitely had horns for whoever the ruler was of Vacchio. Man, there's so much to go back through, to talk about, and then to kind of work through. Man, you guys were right. This one was a great one. I have too much to talk about. Abolishing art and Jesus, I can't even talk about this. I gotta process everything. I'll come back with at the end of this volume for sure. I have to come back and do a theory and go through the different things, like the history of. So I'll probably do, like, the history of World of Remnant, right, from the time of antiquity through the Great War through today, right? Those are our 3 or 4 major things. We have that. I want us to talk about Salem. Who is Salem? Who is Summer? Summer Rose. Who's Raven? What is their history? History of Team Stark, the tribe of Raven and Crow. And there's so much to talk about that I just have no idea. Zero clue. There's a lot of things. Let me know what you guys would like for me to do for theories and for discussion-based things. I'm super down to do a lot of that stuff, especially once this season ends. I will try and do some chibi episodes too, to kind of be the filler between Volume 4 and Volume 5, as well as to do theories and stuff. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know what you guys think of my comments, my reaction, and my review. And as always, Jedi Otaku out.